Well, good morning to everyone. You'll have to forgive me. I do feel not just a little bit emotional this morning. I feel very emotional this morning. And it just sort of suddenly descended upon me. And it was looking at the photographs from yesterday of the caves of Kish. Excuse me, I'm just pouring my coffee. Eventually I've got my coffee. And I'm just trying to put this into words now, so you'll have to bear with me. And I do feel it's important as well just to be able to speak like this. As I stood in those caves, and the main cave was exceptional, I felt very, very calm. I felt very calm, and surges of love and calm, just so restful. I could literally have just laid down on the earth in there and gone to sleep. I felt that calm. Oh, it's better, my coffee. I got home pretty late. I think it was about 7:30, 7:45 by the time I got home. And I was exhilarated. Strangely enough, heights do perturb me. I mean, for example, you won't catch me on any kind of a fairground roller coaster or anything that goes up in the air. I'm not great on heights. And climbing up there yesterday was a bit scary because it's only really just a tiny little dirt track, that sheep would use. So I tried to think of myself as like a mountain goat, and sort of bring that energy into my footsteps. But it was scary going up. But when I got up there and I was stood inside the caves and looking out, it was just so amazing. It was just so exhilarating, and then it was so calm, and then I felt surges of love. And then when I looked up and I seen the little swallow's nest, and I remember everything that Marija Gimbutas had said about the goddess and how the bird was one of her very precious symbols. And in fact, many of the artifacts uncovered by her from up to 30,000 years ago in old Europe were bird goddesses, little sort of pottery figures, exquisitely made, absolutely exquisite. So when I looked up and I seen the bird, I just felt, I've come home. I felt so embraced. I felt so nurtured. And today I just feel so emotional. I mean, I'm on the verge of tears. It's not ridiculous. I mean, we're trained to say, oh, this is ridiculous. What a ridiculous feeling. I've had a very good night's sleep. I'm not in any way tired. I'm a wee bit sore today, obviously, because of, making that kind of an ascent. And I'm not at all used to climbing mountains. So that was obviously difficult. But I feel very emotional this morning, and I'm trying to work out why. I know one of the reasons is that everything that I've looked at this morning has reminded me of what I felt inside those caves. And then I read, the way it's kind of serendipity takes over. I read a post that I'd put up several months ago, and in fact it was strange how I came upon this post, but it was something that had been written about how the goddess over the past several thousand years, the weakening of the goddess has gone hand in hand with the weakening of women, and how women have been treated in society for the past several thousand years. And this little post talked about how the goddess then retreated. That word retreated resonated with me. Retreated to the deep forests and the mountaintops, where man could not reach her. And I felt then, I know why I've come to this little post. It has reminded me of what I felt yesterday and could not articulate. That there in those caves was such a powerful force of the divine feminine. Now going up, I felt a little bit scared, to say the least, because of the height. But coming back down, and you'd think it would be harder coming down because you're coming straight out of those caves and onto a sheer drop. But I felt exhilarated. And my daughter, who was with me, was starting to get a wee bit of vertigo, and I said, hold my hand. She said, no, Mum, I should be holding your hand. I said, no, you hold my hand, I'm fine. And I started trotting off down the mountain. She said, Mum, I said, look, I'll walk on and I'll sit down then and wait for you. And my daughter was walking with so much trepidation in her footsteps, and I really felt quite worried for her, because I thought, well, if she slips at all, you know, she'll go rolling off down that hill. But she said, no, Mum, let me walk, I'll be fine on my own. And off I trotted. This morning, anyway, I've lit the candles on my little altar here. I've lit 3 candles and I've got some little incense going. And down here is some yarrow flowers that I picked just outside the cave. And you know what else I found up there? And I've picked a little bit of it. White heather. White heather, which of course is a fantastic symbol of good luck. So I feel today, I feel completely energized, incredibly emotional. I've already burst into tears several times this morning. I'm breathing really deeply. It's as though I've let something go. I feel released. I feel released and renewed. Such an experience. Such a wonderful experience. I'm going to just walk round here to the corner of the lodge. How beautiful is that large tree? And look at this beautiful maple. My son in Canada bought me that. Anytime he comes home, we go to the garden centre and he splashes out on a tree that perhaps I would not be able to afford to buy, you know. 30, 40, 50, 60 euros for a particular tree. I'm just going to sit down here now beside the goddess. Put my coffee down. Isn't life amazing? Birds are all singing away this morning. I think it's about 9:30, 9:45. I think today is going to be very interesting for me because I reflect a lot when I'm working, you know, when I'm working manually, and I love to work manually. I love to be outdoors and just being a part of it all. And it'll be interesting to note all the different waves of thought that come over me today. I try not to consciously think about what I've experienced. Instead, I let it all off into the ether, let it all go and swirl around and, you know, pick up other energies, whatever. And then at some point it starts to filter back through me, and it's then that I begin to think about what I've experienced. So it's a very free-flowing kind of stream of consciousness approach to life. And I do that more and more, and I see it as well as a form of meditation. Little Jack just stood there. Oh, I'm going to take him for a walk today. I won't say that too loudly, because if he hears that word, he'll start bouncing around like a child on sugar. It's strange because I feel like I want to say so much about yesterday, and the words just won't come. I think part of the emotion I felt, you know, about 10-15 minutes ago, I got very emotional as I was just boiling the kettle to make coffee. It wasn't any kind of a sad emotion, I've got to stress that. There was a sort of a feeling of being at one, like a feeling that I'd touched base, that I'd made connections, and that I was now at one. At one with an energy. I also felt very close to my mother as I came down that mountain yesterday. As I trotted off down that mountain like a wild mountain goat, I felt incredibly close to my mother. And of course I realise now that that is precisely how she would have acted, coming out of the caves, facing into quite a fearful descent, and from nowhere appearing to gather up a huge amount of energy and surge forward. I think that's the way of women as well. I think women can find the most amazing energy at the most turbulent and traumatic times. And maybe that's something else that I felt yesterday. Maybe I picked up on the turbulence and the trauma. I don't know. There's so much healing to be done in this world. So much healing. We haven't really got any idea of how much healing has to be done. But I know this, that when we start the healing process, that incredible things happen. I feel that we're at an incredible point in time where that energy is just waiting to be picked up and just put out there. It's an incredible energy, an incredible force. I do feel a very strong sense of my mother around me today, but not just my mother, but the mother, all the mothers, maybe all the women who've ever gone before me. Thousands of them. Now that's an incredible force when you think about it. When you think about all those births that we've, coming out of the cave was like coming out of the womb. It was like being born. And when you think that you were born and your mother was born from a womb and her mother was born from a womb, and you go back, it's like one incredible long tunnel going back to something immense. And I think at this point in time, all that energy is surging down along through that tunnel, and it's coming out at this point in time when we need to have that energy. This is what has manifested itself here at Bealtaine Cottage with this incredible growth, this incredible storming in of nature. Literally stormed in and said, "Stand back, I'm here." That's what I felt yesterday coming out of the cave. That it was that kind of force, because I was so calm in there. It was like being in a womb, and then coming out, it was like this incredible force. It was, I suppose, in some ways like a rebirthing. I don't know. I'm trying. I've been trying desperately hard for several years now to try to articulate all this. To try to articulate what it is that I feel and what it is I'm experiencing here. And over the years, when people have come here, when people have visited, I have watched, grown men cry here in these gardens. So there is an energy. It's at work. It's at play. It's divine. That's all I can say. It's a massive, massive force. And it's divine. Come on, Jack. I'm in my little slippers, which are slowly getting wet. They're kind of soaking up the moisture from the ground. And this energy, look at it, see it. It's an extremely beautiful energy. It is beautiful. It's awesome. It cannot be edited. These videos can't be edited. You cannot edit this kind of energy. You can't control it. You've just simply got to open the door and trust. Trust that this energy knows an awful lot more than what you will ever know. You tend it. You allow it to be. You bring it forth. And you watch in awe. Yesterday was significant, I think, for one very poignant thing. It was significant because as I exited the cave and started off down the mountain, I felt some of that energy being released. Blessings to you all on this beautiful, beautiful 1st of September.